Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. We are so lucky to have a very, very broad panel of alumni who have come today to share their stories with you about life after Stanbridge. As they're talking, I hope you can think about things that you might enjoy that's similar to what they've done, or what ideas you have that relate to things that they are doing or have done after Stanbridge. You can see the whole list. It's a range of students, some of whom graduated last year, and some of whom graduated more than 10 years ago. So you're going to hear stories from people who just left Stanbridge, and stories from people who've been out of Stanbridge for quite a long time and have had time to think about what they wanted to do and develop a career path or a plan. Okay? So I'm going to turn it over to David, our student body president, who's our MC today. Okay? Can we give our panelists a round of applause for being here? David requested a round of applause.
Yeah, come on, guys.
No more presidential favors. Next slide.
Got another microphone, huh?
So we have our panel structure. Panelists will be asked 3 questions. All panelists will respond to the current questions before the next question is asked. Panelists will be limited to their answers approximately 2 minutes, no longer. This is not a presidential debate. After all panelists respond to the questions, the audience will have time to ask their own questions. So question 1, where are you all living? What city are you all living in? The type of housing you're living in? For example, dorm, family home, the basement, apartment, home, or other? What are you currently doing? For example, are you studying, working, volunteering, something else like sleeping on the couch all day?
All right, so in case you are one of the 2 people in the room who don't know who I am, I'm Hal Parker. I graduated back in something like 2 years ago. I don't know, I'm not good at math. I was an engineering major. But as for where I'm currently living, when I'm not spending time in my super secret underwater volcano lair in space, I am currently still living with my parents. Achievements, they are good.
And what are your activities?
Oh, and what am I currently doing? Well, I was doing school, but,
Figure it out.
So, I'm currently working, Noah's Bagels. Excitement. I'm 20 years old and I've already lost my entire life. Don't be like me, kids, stay in school.
My name is Jace Claron. I am currently living with my parents in our family home. And I am currently wanting to take over the world. Oh, you want to go better after that? So what I'm doing is I'm a transition student at Stanbridge. And I am hoping to pursue a career in costume design. So yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Skylar, class of 2016. I'm currently living in a university-owned apartment in San Francisco with 3 people I tolerate and 1 person I barely tolerate. And I'm studying computer science at San Francisco State University. But since I'm a lower division student, I mostly take GE classes and then take like 1 or 2 like classes for CS every semester. So, and Yeah, I'll pass this on to Bobby.
I'm Bobby. I'm currently at Foothill College's Tools for Transition work program. I am right now living at home with my parents. So, yeah.
And I attend UC Berkeley. I'm the first Stanford student to ever go to a place like that. Currently I live in a dorm with one roommate, and I go home on weekends since I live close. And yeah, I'm studying a few classes that I'm interested in. I have an intended major in computer science and an intended architecture minor.
Hi, I'm Will, and right now I was graduated in 2014, and I still live with my family, of course. And so far, I'm doing all three of those things, actually. I'm studying kinesiology at Skyline College. I'm a martial arts instructor for my job. And right now, for volunteering, if you've seen me at Cambridge, I'm usually working with MK in physical ed. So, yeah.
And I also graduated in 2014. Currently, I'm living in a suite in Putney, Vermont, with 2 other roommates. Well, actually, suite mates. I have my own room, and I'm currently I'm majoring in business, and I currently am just going to college. And I'm also working at college.
Hi, I'm Eli, formerly known as Emily. I am currently living with my parents because, don't need to move out immediately. I am currently studying psychology at Canada College, and I plan to transfer in the next couple of years.
I graduated 2013. I'm currently living at home with my parents in Woodside, and I work 2 days a week at a quilting store. And other than that, I'm just kind of pursuing my passions of jewelry and quilting and other artsy stuff. I also do some volunteer work sewing bags for my new red shoes, and I like to garden.
Hey guys, I'm Katie. I graduated in 2010. I currently live in Sausalito, but I'm saving up money to move back to the East Coast. I'm currently a freelance photographer. I work for Sausalito Parks and Rec, and I'm searching for my career job.
Hello again. I'm Jonathan, and I graduated in 04. And I am living in a house with other people who aren't my family. I am a professional voice actor, done some on-camera work too, and I also work in San Bruno as a teaching assistant for an after-school program, so I'm basically running around with kindergartners most of the day, and then doing cartoon voices.
Next question, highlights. What do you like most about your life, or what you're living and what you're doing now?
What do I like most? Well, I get to basically be a cartoon character or a video game character, and that's a lot of fun. I like, as far as the teaching job, it's very rewarding to work with children, and it's from K to, I believe, 4th or 5th. So, it's just a very rewarding experience, and I'm just coloring and reading them stories and stuff. It's very nice. And then as far as living, well, I like that I have my own room. That's nice. And the people I live with are pretty cool. So yeah, it's just, mostly I'm just really happy that I am lucky enough to be a part of the Screen Actors Guild and to do voiceovers, because it's what I've wanted to do since I was very, very young.
I just really enjoy taking photos, and I do a lot of food photography, and that's really exciting because I love food. I like salsa because it's cool, but I don't know. Go to Marin, go hike.
Okay, so I just like pursuing my passions, and I can't read what I said. I have the support that I need at home, and just kind of doing whatever I feel like doing.
I think what I like most about what I'm doing is it's very free. There's not as much pressure to do everything at once, and I think that's really important. And I have a lot of time to kind of work on my hobbies, such as hitting people with foam swords, and music, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what I like most about where I'm living is, well, I get to be away from my parents. The other thing is, well, also my roommates are quite chill and they're really awesome. And the other thing that I like about what I'm doing is, well, I get to work improv night, which is really fun, and also I get paid.
What I like about living in home, well, pretty much I don't have to pay for the rent, so I'm using that. And what I like about doing, I won't explain about school because school is still school, but what I like to be as a teaching instructor for martial arts, because I really have a thing for leadership, and I really like working with little kids and even adults, because I see them transition from when they start stepping up one by one, and it really feels accomplishment. So yeah.
Well, I kind of like, living close to where I live, and also only have to do chores all by myself, and I find that was kind of easy. I try to get stuff done as quick as I can. Also, I get to, I'd be in a new place, where I get to visit, little places when I, walk back and forth every day.
Me, I got to meet a whole lot of new people that if I went to like a different school, I would not necessarily be able to meet, so that was really awesome to be able to do that. Where I'm living is I'm still living at home because it's a commuter school and they don't have any dorms there.
I enjoy living away from home because there's like a lot of independence and freedom that you just don't get when you live with your parents. And another thing is I qualified for a service dog and I got one, so she gets to live with me on campus. That is really nice. It really helped me with my transition and yeah.
Alright, so since I live at home, I like that it's pretty close to school. Well, and I like that it's convenient to do what I like. But honestly, although I would like to move have to eventually be independent, I do like being at home because my cosplay resources are always really easily accessible, and that is really important to me. Big time.
No rent.
Question 3, please. from 3 out of 20 questions. Bazinga. What challenges have you faced? What do you wish you had known as a high school student to help you plan ahead? What advice do you have for Stanbridge High School students?
What challenges have I faced? Well, right as I started going to college, it's a whole different story with how many students I have. And then I think the biggest challenge for me was isolation because, I felt really comfortable here for many years. But then moving on and then meeting different students, it was quite a challenge. So, and one advice I can give to you is that when you do go to college, make sure you take a good amount of classes, at least 1 to 2, because for me, I can't do 7 classes because it's too much for me. So take one step at a time, and of course, when you go to college, take your time, all right? It doesn't matter, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, it doesn't really matter, as long as you can take your time and accomplish what you want to be. So, yeah.
A lot of challenges I faced while like Will said, it was tough going into a new place after being here for so long. But I eventually got through it. And the one thing I can tell high school kids, enjoy high school. It really gets tough afterward, but you can make it, just know that.
I'd say one of the initial challenges I faced was also adjusting to a new environment because I think that's hard for anyone, but especially when you're on the spectrum or you have a learning disability, that can be really difficult. I'd say definitely, as Will was saying, take your time, pace yourself because it's not a race. You want to figure out what you want to do, and there's no rush to do that. So really, just kind of take your time and make sure that you're taking care of yourself too.
People were always asking or assuming that I was going to go to college, even though my parents and I kind of had agreed that maybe it wasn't the right thing for me. So, and sometimes people were kind of pushy about it. So it'd be like, well, just take one class, or just do a couple of things, and maybe not, college isn't the right thing for you. So one advice that I would give seniors, before you graduate, try to figure out what you're going to do because it can be kind of challenging just making that transition from school to whatever the heck you're doing. Another advice is that my mom's always reaching out, talking to people and networking and trying to find different opportunities for me to do random different things that I can explore my horizons.
I think one of the challenges that I faced was because I lived in Vermont, the snow is freezing cold, but you get used to it with a lot of warm layers.
At the risk of repeating myself, I will just say Adaptive Learning Resource Center. When you get to college, or Department of Disabilities, when you get to your college, wherever you go to, find out where that is. They will help you. They will absolutely help you. Challenges? Well, getting acting work is hard, but also I had a hard time because back then, I had a hard time really kind of accepting that I needed help. I was very stubborn about it, that I needed help, that I thought differently and stuff, and that I had difficulties in things. I thought I could do anything. In terms of advice, I want to say something that I wasn't able to say when I spoke here a couple months ago. Don't be afraid of failure. And what I mean by failure is don't be afraid to make a mistake. That's a great way to learn. So don't be scared to take risks and do whatever you want to do just because you think you might fail, you might mess up, or you might make a mistake, or you might fail. That's the best way to learn. And it also makes you more courageous because you're not afraid of that anymore. So don't be afraid of failure. Failure is part of learning and it's part of growing.
Don't let college intimidate you. It's just another day on the daily grind.
Well, because I have social anxiety, it can be quite hard for me. need to, be social like normal humans. And a lot of being out in the real world is going to involve socializing. I mean, leaving Stanford is like taking the red pill. You wake up and you realize I'm not in the Matrix anymore. Yes. But the way to handle it is to be easy on yourself and to be kind to yourself. That's the most important. To drive yourself pretty easy because you don't feel like you're good enough. That's not the way to do it. I mean, I'm not the best at everything, but there are some things I do really enjoy, and that's what I focus on. So yeah, my advice to all of you is take it easy on yourselves and focus on what you really care about.
So everyone at my school, that's like either like a professor who like talks to students or an upper division student, was like the first semester is the hardest. Once you get through that, the rest becomes easier. I had a particularly difficult first semester because in October my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, which was just super rough for me. And honestly, it did make it kind of, and like for the next like 2 weeks afterwards, it was like hard to like go through my classes because I was constantly worried and thinking. So the first semester is the roughest, and another important thing to know is that everyone struggles with their transition to adulthood. It doesn't matter if you're on the spectrum or off the spectrum, or if you have a diagnosis. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Everyone has a hard time transitioning to adulthood. So it's rough for everyone.
What challenges that I faced was, it was a bigger school, bigger campus. You do not know where the heck your classes are at first. You can find out via maps. It really helps. What really helped me as well was that, and this is my advice, find people who you can connect with. Those are the most important things that you can do. Because once you do that, they can help you with pretty much anything.
At first, it was really hard for me to get used to living at a university because I had to keep track of everything I did each day, all the classes and my daily routine, that, and I'm trying to get my work done. I have so much work to do, it's kind of hard. I try to get done as fast as I can. And, the college websites that keep track of all your work are pretty confusing, too. Yeah. So I think, well, first, I think that before you start the year, you should, practice, go and find the places you're supposed to go to, and get all the textbooks you need and all that. And, because that's really helpful. I mean, this past semester I've been taking a program that really helped. I was in this one building. This next semester I got to start going to class on the main campus for the first time. But I practice going to each of the buildings. Another thing that I know is so this past semester I've always been going to the dining hall to eat my meals. So because the problem is I don't really know how to I don't know. I'm just not really good with using money. I mean, I got a card on that, but it's just, I said card. But I don't really understand money as much as most people. So yeah, I'm just gonna, help to get out to the restaurants for real this semester.
So for all of you who went to college, how the heck did you manage the transition from a pretty light workload to a massive, big, honking workload that takes like 5 years to finish one piece of homework?
I'd say it really depends on the classes you're taking, because with some classes there really isn't that much of a workload. With some there's definitely a lot more, and sometimes it's different type of work. So my best advice is there are usually tutoring centers on campus, and there's also the disability center, as you were saying.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very helpful to go to the disability center. I'd say the first thing when you enroll in college is go there. It's very helpful.
Scheduling is very beneficial for when you're in college. Time management and getting help from the tutoring center, or like Mitch says, I have landmark tutoring, the DCAST is very helpful.
You know, the beauty of college is you can kind of make your own schedule. So you can schedule about as many or as little classes as you want. For me, it took a little longer because I was not only doing the acting thing, I was, auditioning, doing theater at the time and stuff. I was also working a part-time job and doing classes. So it took me a little bit longer to graduate, but I did graduate. I just only took like about 1 or 2 classes a quarter, because that was on the quarterly system. Or there are some people who want to get it all done, so they'll take multiple classes, all their GED in like 1 year or something. I don't know how they do that, but yeah. And also another good thing about college is once you can take classes that you're really, really interested in, and when you do something that you're really, really interested in, it's not going to feel like extra work and stuff. You're gonna want to do it. You're gonna be enthusiastic about doing it. So yeah, to me that's kind of the beauty of the college system is being able to control your own schedule.
Become a full-time student off the bat, take only like roughly 6 or 7 units, and when you do get your classes, you do meet with accountants. You don't just go like, well, I'm going to do this, sign up for classes. No, you do that for a few fun classes here and there, like I did it for a makeup class. No practical application in engineering, but it was a lot of fun. You meet with you meet with an advisor and you explicitly map out, okay, well, this is my end goal, these are the classes you need to take, this is the order that you're going to take them in. And even then, the myth of you go to college for 4 years, that's not true. It takes however long it takes. Some people make it in 4 years, some people take a decade. It takes how long it takes. Go at your own pace. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't be afraid to drop a class.
Some advice is when you plan out when you're doing your homework, give yourself extra time in case, say, you write an essay and you really just can't put any words on the paper. You're going to need that extra time. So always also plan out when you're going to do your homework. Don't necessarily wait for the last minute. Most professors give you all the assignments when you get your syllabus, and it has the due dates. So plan accordingly and don't be afraid to start early.
I think the syllabus is really helpful. Each week you got a bunch of work to do, and also not just work either. You have to actually read from the textbook, and I always underline the important parts. I keep track of everything I need to do each day and each week, and I put the syllabus in, and I plan on when I'm going to do it, and how much I do each day. This really depends on how long it takes me. But I try to get it done as fast as I can. There are so many weeks in the year, but I just I always look forward to the end of the week because that's when I can take a break. I mean, even if I might still have to do some studying at home, but but sometimes I can take a break. So yeah, we got some classes there are some classes that don't do assignments that only do reading, and some do science. I don't know. It really depends. Each class is kind of structured differently. On this, there's like a site that keeps track of announcements and assignments and all that. But yeah, that's makes it easy.
Okay, I'm very impressed to be with all of you. And have some theater advice because of drama. I'm gonna start. Let's see. I'm gonna turn over to Jonathan. I've got some more theater advice for you. What advice, besides all the vocal demands and acting demands, what other advice could you give theater performers if they have they're having a first time stage, they're feeling nervous about doing some vocal acting or just regular acting in general? How do you manage to give that person advice? What advice would you give that person?
Most of my classmates were either really good with computers or really good at sports, and I was good at neither of those things. So it was great to finally find theater, and for me it's just good advice I have, and this is good for anything. It's what I said before about, just relax, just breathe, just calm, just be calm and just kind of take it as it goes. If you're starting out, I would say, and do your homework, do your research on whatever role or whatever kind of assignment you're doing. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And like I said, this goes for anything, not just theater. It's basically just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't forget to breathe. You don't want to pass out. And just be prepared. Do your research. I really liked what Skylar. Yeah. I really like what you said about don't taking it. I'm forgetting. Oh boy. But you gave some good advice about just taking being prepared what you can handle, and so it's weird because I don't know. Are there any theater people here? Raise your hand. Any other theater people? Nice. Okay, so a few of you. Yeah, that applies to whatever you want to do. Just remain calm and do your research. And that was the advice. Start early. Don't be start early. Your professor does give you a syllabus, and always don't wait till the last minute.
You follow your passions, and if you aren't feeling it, then don't do it. Definitely also relax and breathe. So it's really important to just do what you want to do.
The thing about that is this. Don't do too much or you will exhaust yourself and you won't be able to do as much as you want to. Do it a little bit at a time. Don't go so fast that you basically overwork yourself. That is not the point. The point is to take it easy, take it slow.
First thing theater teaches you, how to deal with failure. You will audition. You will get rejected. You will audition again. You will get rejected. Theater is brutal. It's brutal. It's time-consuming, stress-inducing, anxiety. More stress. Don't even get me started on Tech Week. And I love every second of it. If you have an interest in theater, I'm not just saying this to Maya, I mean this to everyone. If you have the remotest interest in theater, find out where auditions are, and just go for it. You may not get in. That's fine. Audition again. To do theater, you need a personality, you need perseverance, and you need to get used to hearing the word no.
So when you were in high school, which might be a while, sorry, Jonathan, what is one thing you wish you had paid more attention to, another skill that you wish you had picked up while you're here? They still have all the Stanbridge resources available to them. Which one should they focus on while they're here?
Sometimes I really regret not picking up bass guitar during those years instead, or working on my art skills, or really anything. Because now I look back and I realize I thrived so much here. I could have done so much better back then.
Well, I can only say before I came to Stanbridge, it was really tough for me because I did not know what was going on basically most of the time. What I can say now is this: find something that you like to do, stick with that. That will also help.
I like that advice.
For me, mainly if it was for a subject, my main one was math, because for me, when I was here at Stanbridge, I usually would always just blab out the answer. I didn't go through too much each step by step. I would always just go through the answer, and since I'm taking a basic math in college, it still struggles me. I still try to go to the answer, so it's a whole different story how the professor goes step by step. So that was the main challenge for that one.
Brazos, what advice do you have? What have to
Well, the one thing I wish I could do back in high school is I wish I paid more attention my senior year. I'll be honest, I had senioritis, and I got my junior year.
I'd say take advantage of the resources that you have available to you, such as, pragmatics, being so close with your teachers, because you might not have that in college. It is important to forge good relationships with your professors, but it won't be quite as close, and they won't know you as well as Stanbridge teachers or counselors. So I definitely say take advantage of that, learn life skills that you might need in college, work on just skills that you want to work on. Do what you want to do, and don't worry too much about the social aspect, because that is something that a lot of people pay a lot of attention to. Friends are important, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, they're important, but emotions are tough in high school, and try not to let that get in the way of enjoying being in high school.
I think just focus in on what it is that you like to do. And I just had a brain fart. So focus on what you like to do. Figure that out before you leave Stanbridge, so that you have some kind of you're not just walking into some dark room and you have no idea where you're going. Find some kind of path that you maybe don't exactly know where you're going, but just have an idea.
When I was in high school, I always thought I'd be perfect, and I realized you don't have to be perfect. As long as you know what you want to do in life, it's fine. Also, I wish I remembered where I went on the school trips, because that was cool.
That I didn't really take advantage of the social aspect of it. I wish I could enjoy the field trips more than I did. I wish I could enjoy outings and group projects more than I did. I wish I could go over to more people's houses. I wish I could hang out with people outside of school more. I wish I could, do projects with them outside of school a lot more. I wish I could do the extracurricular things the acting thing and taking advantage of that a lot more. And, you know, I know that all of you fellow old fogies can, the old fogies in the room can attest to, if I had the personality that I do now, and I was able to go back then and have to keep my personality now, my life would be very different. I would be like insane, much happier. Much happier, because I may be over 30, but I have like the personality of like a late teenager, early 20er. So if I could be like me then, my life would be so much different now. But I'm sure there are a lot of people who have, you know, have always thought that way. But yeah, I just wish I could have taken more advantage, just be happier, you know, at least come off as being happier.
What are your hobbies nowadays after school? Because what I've heard is there's not that much time for hobbies. There's more of just you do your work, you go home, you do your homework, and you rinse and repeat. So are you guys doing hobbies? Do you even have time? Do you have the money for it? If so.
Enjoy life as you should at this age, because you know you don't have to pay bills necessarily. So definitely there is time for hobbies. Money, it really depends, because it depends if you have a job, it depends if you have to pay for certain things. Personally, I write, I play games, I hit people with bone swords, I take care of dragons. So yeah, there's definitely plenty of time for hobbies. It just depends on how you block your schedule out and what you're doing. So definitely leave room for leisure, because it's very important to do that so you're not stressed the whole time.
So I think maybe one of the very few here that's not going to college currently, and so I work 2 days a week, and then I have the rest of the week to kind of do what I feel like and like pursue my hobbies, and so I'm very artsy. And so I do some painting, and I do kind of whatever I feel like. So I definitely have like blocked out time specifically for what I like to do to kind of pursue my passions.
While I was in college, I was part of the leadership groups and community service groups where I got to like help around the towns, where I met tons of people. Now I'm currently doing a lot of like fun photography jobs and just career searching. That's what I do in my free time.
There's a danger to letting your free time overtake your life, to becoming complacent and lethargic and not wanting to do, you know, anything because, well, it's going to cut into my free time. That happened to me. Don't let that happen to you. You know, having free time and doing what you love and having hobbies is a very, very good thing. But like a lot of things, too much of a good thing can lead to bad things. So, and this is especially dangerous when you no longer have an academic schedule to follow through. So use the skills you learn, use the time management that you learn when you're in college and when you're doing school. Use that, remember that, and use that when you're out of it. Because believe me, it's very easy to fall into that trap.
Or maybe you have to do odd jobs around the house in order to afford your hobbies. But you still have a hobby. To quote Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, life will find a way.
Mostly I spend my days helping out around the classrooms, but when I do get home, I do make sure to spend time doing what I love. You know, which includes stuff like cosplay, models, video games, and other nerdy stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just just make sure that you have some time to do what you like, because otherwise you will go insane.
Life is very difficult. It sucks a lot of the time. Find something that makes you happy and that gives you the will to live.
So right now, one of my hobbies is writing. I am right now writing a few books right now. So, and it's really hard to figure out what to put next, but once I figure it out, I just put it down automatically. Because I know that a few moments later, it will be right out. Just like that.
My job is my hobby, pretty much. And so, training-wise, because I do both teaching 6 days a week, and at the same time, I'm training 6 days a week. So, that's pretty much my hobby for always in martial arts.
Like many of you, my hobby is playing video games.
Yeah.
I still have plenty of time to do it along with my homework, even when in college, and it's just a couple hours. So, and trust me, my parents used to have a limit on the amount of time I could play. So, I don't have any more limit, but still, I can limit myself.
I'm curious, so, this is for Hal and Jonathan. How long have you been acting in theater?
Theater, I mean, it's been a long time. I can honestly say when I started doing, like, taking voice acting classes, I was about, 14, 15 years old. And I didn't start doing, I did a little bit of theater when I was like 16, 17, but I didn't really start getting into it until I was 18. So I was a bit of a late bloomer, as a lot of theater kids would say. I was a bit of a late starter, and the first one I did, where I had a major role, was I was Monsieur Denard in Les Miserables. So that was, which is one of, just a family favorite musical of my family. And that was a lot of fun, and that was where I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this, and I can really do this. So, yeah, a long time, basically. That's some of a long time.
To the question, I've been doing musical theater now for 10 years, and this summer I will be going in, and it only took me about 9 years to get an official lead part. Yay! Years. No, and then this summer I will be going into another production, and once I get dates on that, be sure to check the Stanbridge page. I will be sure to spam it to the Stanbridge Facebook page so that you can all come see it, assuming you want to drive for 45 minutes down to San Jose.
How do you use special talents and abilities to become successful, and what are some of the challenges with that?
Something that is able to be done. It definitely takes a lot of practice to put those talents into something that is actually feasible as, a job. For me, one of the challenges, I'm a writer, so one of my challenges is having it be a talent and something I enjoy doing versus a chore. And the biggest challenge in that is having to separate, okay, when does this become something I don't enjoy doing anymore? And you kind of have to balance whether you want that to happen or not, or whether you want to let that happen or not. So the biggest challenge there is not letting your passions become something that you don't want to do anymore because it becomes something that you're depending on.
I totally agree with Eli. Sorry. But if you're doing something that you love, then when you go to work, you won't find any challenges in it.
Ditto.
Same. Pass.
Brad, do you want to hear the question again? Yeah. How are you using your special talents and abilities to be successful?
What are some of the challenges?
I guess being good at getting everything done quickly, that kind of helps me be successful.
I personally would not call myself successful yet.
Keyword yet.
Like I said before, I've been to costume design, so I just spend a lot of my time and energy on that because it's what I'd like to do in the future, and I'm not gonna be a successful costume designer if I don't spend hours and hours working on it. So yeah.
Find where your talents converge. Let that help determine.
The last word to our most senior alumni.
I think what was interesting about your question is there's many different interpretations. Obviously, there's many different interpretations of it. My interpretation is this: when you say special talent, what I was thinking was, how does my learning or social disability factor into my success? And I can honestly tell you that for me, because I'm in my head so much, and I surround myself in like this fantasy world. I live in this fantasy world. That's just what acting is. You're creating your own character, and you're living out the world. So it's very easy for me to put myself into other people's skins. The challenge, of course, is when I have to be me, and I have to go out and audition or like introduce myself properly. Or for instance, I'm better at getting, when I audition, I'm better at getting character parts than I am at getting commercials. So with commercials, you have to be more real. Whereas with characters, you have to be a character. So that's my interpretation of your question. But I think it was a very interesting question because we've got so many different interpretations. So thank you.
Wow, we had a great group, lots of diverse questions. Thank you so much for being so honest, all of you, sharing your challenges, sharing things that work well for you. Can we have one more huge round of applause for our audience?